welcome, family, to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. Thank you for tuning in to our global network. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please share this video podcast with your friends. We ask that you do this because we want others to know we're here. This video podcast is available in 3 forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. I cite all of my sources on my Medium transcript under Show and Prove. I encourage my listeners to click on the link to my current Medium transcript so that you can read my sources in real time and respond when we open up the discussion for Q&A. We're dedicated to discussing controversial issues such as the genocide which is taking place among our youth in our inner cities across the United States. We can't sugarcoat genocide. Although I have little to no support from people in my city in Chicago, I refuse to be ignored. Purpose: to educate people, black people, African people, and others who are serious about solving black issues in America, solving African issues on the continent and throughout the diaspora, as well as to raise funds for our film project, Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, The War Against Willie Lynch Begins. I use this platform to interact with everyone on my friends list and everyone in my social groups by giving black business owners free airtime to promote their products and services. I give people in the faith community an opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ, and ordinary law-abiding citizens an opportunity to share their special talents and skills to my listeners from around the globe. After the show, I offer my guest speakers an incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcast and YouTube channel to help them earn extra revenue during COVID-19. I also assist people on my friends list with creating basic websites, finding college scholarships, grants, housing, and legal services, all for free. Our goal is to raise $500,000 so that I can be in a better position financially to hire a professional black production company or an African production company with quality actors. Without support from the black grassroots and the global African family, I am unable to do my job. Non-black sympathizers are welcome to join us and to patronize us, but it's black people's responsibility to build it and to own it. And that's what makes this organization different from other black organizations. I'm calling on all of my Christian group members in Light of the World Inspirational Group and Christian Spoken Word Network to pray that God would connect me with people who have the means to support our film project. Pray that my revised book will get on the bestsellers list. Pray that the Spirit of God will allow our film project to get fully funded and made in Jesus Yahshua's name. I am encouraging all of my group members to do what you can to help us reach our goals so that we can move from behind the computer, starting with getting our story on the big screen and getting our Christian business up and running in Chicago. Please consider supporting our film project in 3 ways. They are as follows. Through our virtual store, we provide merchandise such as COVID masks, coffee mugs, posters, handbags, and t-shirts. All proceeds will go towards our film project. 2, through our PayPal page. Grecairo Chicago, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago, is a faith-based community advocacy organization. Our mission is to eradicate urban violence in Chicago through arts, culture, commerce, and spiritual development. Donations can be made can be used as a tax write-off for U.S. citizens because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit organization. 3. You can also support our film project by purchasing my revised book, quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, 2nd edition, which is available on my Amazon author page. I provide each website on my Medium transcript under Show and Prove. You can also find each website on my YouTube channel under About. If you are unable to participate on the show, no worries. When you have a moment, please watch our latest video podcast or listen to our audio podcast and leave a public comment in the comment section on my YouTube page and on my Facebook page about the topic. Most of all, please share my information with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Instructions on how to participate on the show. First, watch my video podcast. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Messenger. This is called Side B. You can interact with me in real time, either by voice call by clicking on the phone icon or by video call by clicking on the camera icon. Today's discussion is as follows. The real reason why the Black News Channel failed, Black Town targeted by Comptroller Jason Mumpower, and California Reparations Commission approved lineage-based eligibility. Our first topic, the real reason why the new Black Channel failed. The story has come out that the Black News Channel has shut down after their backer, I believe it's pronounced Shadi Khan, who's also the owner of the Jacksonville Cougars. He invested $50 million to start the Black News Channel. First, it was not a black-owned channel. That alone made it suspect. On March 25th, 2022, the billionaire decided to stop funding the network. About 230 employees were laid off. The network faced a gender discrimination lawsuit after black women claimed that their white male co-workers earned more than them. We never hear about this at major news networks like CNN, MSNBC, or Fox News because these mainstream networks promote white supremacy agenda through the media. One of the reasons why the Black News Channel failed is because they had too many employees and they did not have the support from the black community. BET was created by a black man named Bob Johnson. BET was a pillar in the black community, and black people were proud of it. Unfortunately, he sold it, and now it's turned into what it is today. We live in a time that TV is going out of style. Things nowadays are being more digital. People can watch their favorite programs on their smartphones, laptops, or computers. In the United States of America, the average person don't have time to watch TV because corporate America wants to work you harder than a Hebrew slave. You really don't have time to spend with your family, and you still don't get paid like your co-workers from the dominant society due to racial discrimination. That's why black people have to create their own businesses. The lesson learned from the Black News Channel is first, you need to have your own website up and running. Secondly, you need people from the grassroots to address their issues on the platform, just like what we do over here. It doesn't matter how much money a person invests, there's not enough money to fake being real. Let's look at their YouTube channel. Go to my Medium transcript, scroll down to Show and Prove, then click on BNC YouTube channel link below. They only had 137,000 subscribers. with a billionaire backing them. Another problem the black news channel had was they were out of touch with black people. They hired their bought and paid for Negroes, academic shields, who would say whatever their masters tell them. They don't represent black people. For example, Mark Lamont Hill. The bigwigs will only hire safe Negroes who will promote their agenda. The problem, black society is not falling for their agenda like we used to in the past. Thank God for social media. If you want a brief explanation of why the BNC failed, just look at the numbers on their YouTube channel under videos. Their highest ratings came from covering the confirmation hearings. The financial elites believe that everybody is down with the LGBT immigrant activists. That's what this whole thing was all about, not serving black people's interests. I believe the purpose of the NBC was to undermine black people's agenda and replace it with a non-black agenda. Over here, we represent the soil, the black grassroots. We are the voices of new black media. You can't fabricate credibility. For example, Dave Chappelle was able to survive the controversy because Netflix stood by him. The LGBT community thought they could bully him because of the jokes that he was making towards them, and they were offended and all that stuff. They thought wrong. Spotify is supporting Joe Rogan. Fox News supports Bill O'Reilly and Tucker Carlson. The reason why these corporations stand by their stars is because they help increase the ratings, and the ratings, improve, help them, with the money that they generate from their viewers. The average viewership for BNC was about 4,000 people, and that's a shame. None of these black journalists were serious about building a black media company. They would rather work for the man. The financial elites are the ones who pick and choose who is allowed to enter the United States. What they want is individuals who harbor hostility towards black Americans. The financial elite's aim is to undermine our agenda and grievances. The financial elites prefer to have a bunch of immigrants fighting against us over resources. And that's why I discuss in my revised book. The financial elites also want to flood America with many groups in order to neutralize the black votes. I encourage my listeners to go to my Medium transcript. Click on the link and scroll down to Show and Prove. Select the YouTube video link entitled, quote, 1 in 10 black people in the U.S. are migrants, unquote. And that will be below. Take a look at your screen. Refugees Act of 1980, Diversity Visa Program, and many, many more. This is what DAS, Descendants of American Slaves, did for black immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean. From our organization, Ghettos of Chicago, which is the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago, we want to form an alliance with African communities in America and in Africa. Also form alliance with the Caribbean communities in America as well as on the islands. The Biden administration gave all these so-called black networks funding. Even Boule Roland Martin received $25 million from the Democrats to promote their narrative. He failed too because he used to be on CNN and TV One. When did When he did an interview with white supremacist Richard Spencer, he asked Roland Martin, does he identify as a black man? Roland Martin avoided the question and said he is a Christian first. I don't want to hear anything from Martin. This man accepted money from the financial elites to do their bidding. According to the Rio, Martin acknowledged that he received $250,000 from the United States Census in September of 2020, which is separate from his HHS ads by campaign received by black-owned business companies. He also expressed vehemently that he publicly acknowledged that money on his internet show last year. I don't associate with stakes, fakes, or liars. The United States government is not going to give someone $250,000 to promote black empowerment. If you invest $50 million, then you need to get at least $100 million return on your investment. Leave a public comment on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. Most of all, please share this podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic, Black Town targeted by Comptroller Jason Mumpower. This topic is about Tennessee's Comptroller Jason Mumpower attempting to take control of the finances of Mason, Tennessee, a majority black-owned town of about 1,500 people located within 5 miles of the future site Blue Oval City. The Ford electric truck and battery plant that represents one of the largest manufacturing investments in the state's history. The Comptroller move comes over the objections of Mason's elected officials who have been fighting to maintain control over their town since Mumpower issued an ultimatum taking control of Madison 153-year-old charter or face a financial takeover by the state. This would place the majority black majority Democratic town under control of legally white and Republican-led Timpton County. The town's board of aldermen in an emergency meeting passed a resolution to keep their charter. It seems every time black people try to build something, the power that be pops up to try to undermine our progress. We learned about this from Black Wall Street, Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Black people had a thriving community. This became a threat to white supremacists, and they waged war against black residents. It also happened in Wilmington of 1898, as well as in Rosewood and many other towns which had been whitewashed from history. In this case, you have a black town that had been cleaning up the financial mess that white people left behind. Ford has created electric vehicles in their power plant. They plan to move near Mason, Tennessee. They have been neglected for 20 years now since Ford is planning to set up shop near the black town. All of a sudden, Comptroller Jason Mumpower is trying to take the town away from black residents. He doesn't care about the town. He only cares about taking resources from black people. Leave a public comment on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. Most of all, please share this podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our third topic, California Reparations Commission approved lineage-based eligibility. California's first in the nation task force for Black Americans voted to limit state compensation to DAS, descendants of American slaves who were in the United States in the 19th century. The task force was formed back in 2020 under Governor Gavin Newsom. California's reparations task force voted that only Black Californians who can prove a direct lineage to enslaved ancestors will be eligible for the statewide and first in the nation initiative that addressed the harms and enduring legacy of slavery. This claim is about slavery, not systematic racism or discrimination. The 9-member panel voted 5-4 in favor of defining eligibility for reparation based on lineage determined by the individual being a Black American descendant of chattel enslavement person or a descendant of a free Black person living in the United States prior to the end of the 19th century. Lineage, as opposed to race, has the best chance of surviving a legal challenge. They also said Black immigrants who chose to migrate to the U.S. in the 20th and 21st centuries did not share the trauma that people who were kidnapped and enslaved. Others argue for a broader definition of eligibility, regardless of lineage, for Black people who suffer from systematic racism, housing, education, and employment. This would include all 2.6 million Black Americans in California, with special consideration for those who had direct lineage to enslaved persons. That amendment failed. It cannot be given to all Blacks because they don't have a claim to it, because it's based on lineage. For example, Jamaicans are calling for reparations from the UK. Descendants of American slaves need to be compensated for what happened to our ancestors. If you have migrated to America, then your migration to America is your reparation. You have an opportunity to make the American dollar, which you can take back to your nation. It will have more value. Once we get our reparations, then it will expand to the Caribbean and to African nations. We are the leading voices throughout the Black world, and we have a responsibility to fight for what's right. That is total liberation for Black people worldwide. We have to keep these politicians' feet to the fire, because, as you know, the financial elites had their democratic shields in place. What happened in California usually spread across the United States of America. We need wealth and resources just like everybody else. We want what's owed to our ancestors and what they worked for and was denied. We have to take control over the false narrative from mainstream media. Black people did not force Japanese people into internment camps, but our Black tax dollars were used to compensate them for their financial loss, pain, and suffering. According to The Hill, Biden authorized $5 million more for Afghan refugees relocation. Black people did not have anything to do with Afghanistan, but our Black tax dollars were used to support Afghan refugees brought to America. Black people did not have anything to do with Ukraine, but our Black tax dollars were given to the Ukrainian government. Where are all those people who did not say a word about money going towards non-American citizens, but when Black Americans start putting pressure on our elected officials about resources for our group, then it becomes an issue. Reparation is a conversation that we need to keep discussing until it is paid. There would not be a tax base in the United States if it was not for our ancestors building the wealth for this country. The wealth America has generated for from 250 years of free labor helped make America one of the richest countries on earth. The wealth that is passed down to the next generation of the children from the financial elites at the exclusion of the descendants of American slaves is not right. We got to separate ourselves from off-code Negroes and stop voting for the same black politician who does nothing for us. As I mentioned in my revised book, we have to start selecting people from the soil, which is the grassroots. That will serve our interests, not the financial elite's interests. We got to start getting tangibles for our group. We have to insist that reparations will be in the form of cash payments, just like the Biden administration has done for all these other groups. The Democrats notice that we are still pushing for reparation. Their approval ratings are low, and the midterm elections are fast approaching. We are the only group that don't get anything. We're supposed to become a permanent underclass according to the financial elites. We have to change that narrative. What's the point of voting in a national election if we're not going to get anything for our group? I warned my group members and my listeners in Black America. I told them if the Democrats get in office in 2021, then we would have to compete against many groups for basic resources. I also encourage my listeners to demand tangibles for our vote. Black America ignored me, and now we are in all this mess thanks to black voters. Now the Biden administration is about to bring over yet another group, Ukrainian people who have anti-black sentiments. We got reparations back on the table, and we are defining our group in America. This is our reparations claim for our lineage, descendants of American slaves. The Democratic shields are trying to include all black people in our reparation, but that won't work because not all black people in America can trace their ancestry back to our group. The federal government is responsible for keeping black people in bondage. For example, the founding fathers all owned slaves. California had slaves. Don't take my word for it. Read up on Biddy Mason, a former slave who fought for her freedom and won in the state of California. To learn more about her story, just go to my Medium transcript. Click on the link and scroll down to show and prove. These white supremacists have done the most to sabotage our wealth and resources in this country. We need reparations in the form of cash payments, just like other groups got from the Biden administration. The financial elites are trying to play a fake reparations game. For example, in the article from U.S. News entitled, St. Louis Mayor signed bill allowing voluntary reparations, unquote. To learn more, please go to my Medium transcript and read the article. Also, Evanston is the first U.S. city to issue slavery reparations. Experts say it's a noble start. Family, until we receive cash payments, keep pushing this issue, and I recommend that Black America do a protest vote during midterms to send a message to the Democrats that there will be political consequences for only giving resources, for not giving resources to our group. On Twitter, I watched a video about how these Democratic shields are trying to undermine our reparations claim. I provide the video clip on my Medium transcript. Go to my Medium transcript, click on the link, and scroll down to show and prove. When the financial elites enslaved our ancestors, and brutalized them. They made their wealth off of them, and they got free labor for 246 years. This is a blood debt that's owed only to us. When it comes to other groups, they get the bag. For example, California allocated $156 million to fight anti-Asian hate, according to ABC News. To learn more about the article, just go to my Medium transcript, click on the link, and scroll down to show and prove. Another example, New York governor. I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, but I'm gonna spell it out. Hochul. That's Hochul. Gives $10 million to Asian American groups impacted by COVID. Politicians tell us that policies cannot be just for one group of people. It has to be for everybody. I encourage my listeners who reside in New York to file lawsuits based on racial discrimination. That's how we have to move in America. Here's another example. California City gives transgender and non-binary residents up to $900 a month. But when it comes to the people who really been aggrieved, all of a sudden the city and state government don't have the funds for our group. We have to stop participating in national elections or do a protest vote against the Democrats by voting for Republicans until they start giving us resources like they give everyone else. This is why the financial elite is flooding America with illegal immigrants from Asia and Europe to neutralize the black vote. I encourage my listeners to watch the Tiffany Cross interview on MSNBC with Camilla Moore. I provided a video clip on my Medium transcript. Click on the link and scroll down to show and prove. Camilla Moore breaks down the reparation arguments. It's important to keep it on lineage based, because if it's based on race, then the financial elites will file lawsuits left and right until the court throws it out. The Democratic shields want us to make it based on race in order to undermine what's due to us. When you watch this video clip, notice these Democratic shields keep saying the same talking points. This is not a racist claim or a discrimination claim. This is a slavery claim, and compensations for the claim for our lineage, DAS, descendants of American slaves. We got something going specifically for our group. We must stay focused. We got to start practicing group economics. One way we can do that is by supporting our GoFundMe page for our film project. We also got to become more codified, meaning being on one accord, looking out for one another. Leave a public comment on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. Most of all, please share this podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. I thank you all for listening to this video podcast. I'm going to be making a video about our GoFundMe page, because this is some serious stuff, and I'm putting everything on the table. Again, I'm just one black man with a vision and a plan. It takes a team to make a dream work. I'm calling all of my Christian friends to not just pray for me, but also do what you can to help sow a seed into this film project. That will help get the ball rolling, so that way we can move to the next level. I don't want to be on Facebook another 18 years. This year, we're going to do the best that we can to move our story from behind the computer to the big screen. That will help put me in a better position financially to do all the things that I have been talking about and what I have written, and for it to come to fruition. God has already done his part. He's not, I wrote the vision and made it plain, and my revised book is barely selling. So right there, a lot of people, the average person would leave this alone. They were like, oh, forget this stuff. I can't reach my racial group. I would leave it alone. But this is what I have been called to do. And I want to help our people. Big time. And I know that everybody that's listening, they will come around, and everybody, I believe, mark my words, everybody in Chicago would definitely will be part of this organization once we get this organization up and running, and they see a physical building and all that stuff, and we're doing what I've been saying for the past 30 years. But again, ain't nothing changing on my end. I'm staying focused. My message is real. Reason I write out my speeches, because I want to make sure I stay on point and I'm not just rambling. And I back up everything I say. I have facts, or I have receipts. I back up everything I'm saying. This is very crucial, black people. Black America, this is our last chance to do something significant for our racial group before things get even worse. Because these other groups that's coming over here is not going to be playing games with us. The main thing that's hurting us more than anything is this Willie Lynch mentality. I don't have a lot of support from my own family members. This is how bad things are. But that's fine. This is why I'm online. This is why I wrote my story. This is why I created this online talk show. This is why I created my online groups. This is why I'm trying to do this film project to get my message out there to reach other like-minded black people, African people, Caribbean people. I would say our brothers and sisters from Brazil, as well as non-black sympathizers. They're welcome to be a part of this. I just want to make it clear. I'm reaching out to the soil first and foremost. That's the black grassroots. Without support from them and our global African family, I can't do my job. But I don't want people to sit up here and say that Emmanuel is fake and all that stuff, because I can back up everything I say if given an opportunity to do so. So all I'm doing right now at this point in time is trying to raise $500,000 for our film project. So far, we have raised $1,000, point blank. I'm happy for it, big time. But that's not nearly enough for us to get this project off the ground. And the reason why we want to do the $500,000 is because I want to make sure that people take our cause serious. This is not a game for me. And I'm not going to just be sitting up here doing a lot of talking. I want to, Kakayo Chicago is going to do multiple things, but we want to do all that stuff under one roof and in Chicago, on the west side. We want to cover Austin, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale, and eventually expand to the south side of Chicago. Replicate the same organization and programs over there as well. We also want to, what's going to make this organization different than other black organizations is we want to host and launch African tours, so that way we can meet our brothers and sisters on the continent. We want to be able to form an alliance, so that way we can do international trade among ourselves and heal from this Willie Lynch mentality here in America and on the continent. Heal from colonization, being colonized. And I'm going to go a step further. What makes this organization different than other black organizations is all the unnecessary rejections and being overlooked that I had to endure. I want to make sure none of my members have to endure this foolishness, because we're going to nip that mess in the bud. But, and, I want our black middle class professionals to be involved in this, because they're the ones that's going to help make this thing poppin'. But I want to make sure that first, through my film, that the proceeds from the film, that I'm able to hire them, and that we have our team in place. Those that work with me and Sister Renee will go down in history with us as it pertains to this film project, because this is the most important thing that we're going to do. And this is what I want to be remembered for, trying to do something, not just sitting up here hiding behind a computer. But again, I mean, this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is a Nehemiah assignment. And again, you don't have to be a Christian per se. This is open for secular people, but again, we're gonna check people's paperwork. I don't associate with con artists, hardened criminals, rapists, and pedophiles. I don't associate with those type of people. Not saying that I'm better, but I'm just saying. And off-code Negroes. I don't associate with those type of people neither. Those are the people that we want to make sure that we separate ourselves from. We want to also get rid of these so-called black leaders, these so-called black politicians that's not really doing anything for us. For example, the Congressional Black Caucus. I say get rid of all of them. They had their time, just black faces in high places. You got to get rid of that. And that's why I call this the grassroots community activist movement, because at that, in the beginning, I was just putting my ideas out there with just networking. Now I want us to move from behind this computer. I'm not getting any younger. Just want this thing to come into fruition, and I don't want us to remain stagnant. A lot of people that's in my groups, they're just to be seen, and hey, that's on them. But those of you that work with me, especially in my African group, I'm gonna bring the diaspora to meet you. So if you got a good business, we're gonna promote that business when we come to Africa, and we're gonna have that on video so other people can see that. Yes, I want to be able to have my camera crew with me, and we're gonna do our second film in South Africa. And again, that's how things is going to go. But for right now, I want to focus on getting this film fully funded and made here in Chicago, so that way it can be a blessing to my brothers and sisters here. I'm not going to get petty. I know a lot of people don't like me and stuff like that. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to fulfill the destiny that God has called me to do. But my thing is, I don't want to sit up here and do this another 30 years. I want to bring my talents and skills to the continent. Work with our brothers and sisters that want more out of life. And that's just how it is. Get this organization established in 10 African nations, as well as in the Caribbean and in Brazil. But right now, it has to start here in Chicago first. I hope that it will spread in other cities in America, but again, we want to make Chicago a model. And again, it's not through me and all the brilliance that through my power alone, but the power belongs to Yahshua and the Holy Spirit. But I want people to understand that this is real. I'm not on here playing games. And I thank you again for, you all listening. I know it's kind of long-winded and stuff when I do these, the online show, but I just want to make people understand that this is very crucial stuff. So, with that being said, we're going to open up the phone lines. Send me a message through Facebook Messenger. I'll wait around for about 15 minutes. If I don't hear from anyone, then we'll just call it a day. Peace and blessings.